Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to Big Mouth Live. Very, very welcome. We're going to be doing some chatting tonight, hopefully. I hope we get a lot of people in. I'm very excited to be streaming here live with you. There was someone in, then someone went. Someone's come in. You're very welcome, unless you're a floater and you're going to go as well. Who knows? Ronnie Dodge. Hey, mate. Hi, Ronnie. I hope you've had a good day since last time we spoke. And tonight I'm saying that WB don't care about the hate. WB are embracing the hate. It's interesting, because someone was doing the old WB hate over on Twitter. And then I quote tweeted him saying, we stopped talking about Army of the Dead already. And he goes, I haven't seen Army of the Dead, but you're a Snyder fan. I'm more of a Snyder stan, he said. I may watch it. Don't get that. That's just weird to me. So you're literally just trashing WB for the hell of it, right? Where do you think it's going to get you? Don't get it. I don't understand. But, their director has launched a film this weekend. That should be all you're talking about. Not, hey, WB, you're so bad, WB. Talk about the man's film. Forget about the histrionics. Don't worry about that. It's over. It's over. Accept it's over. Enjoy Army of the Dead and the future franchise. The man's even planning a bigger universe over on Netflix for something else. He's even said that. But of course, we can't do that, can we? Because now they're putting up a 5-year-old post, a video where Zach was saying the studio were asking Zach, why does Clark have to come from Smallville in Kansas? Why can't he come from somewhere else? We're talking about different leadership. It doesn't get you a win. Also, Zach's been talking about how he doesn't want to leave the DCEU behind, but it's waved goodbye to him. And Ann Sarnoff made her position clear in the Variety article. That's true. They have made their position very clear that they will not be restoring the Snyderverse because of the issues of the Snyderverse. And a lot of Snyder fans say they're ignoring the fans. Well, they're not. They're looking at the bigger fandom out there, because hardcore DC fans have been ignored and that they understand that that's an issue. So that's where I am with that. I like Snyder's free movies. I think the man's an artist. He paints a beautiful picture. But there are issues with what he does. You can't ignore die-hard DC comic book fans. It isn't right. I don't have great knowledge of the comics, but I know the people who buy the comics every week and the people who've been buying the comics for 20 or 30 years. You can't ignore those people. Those people were so excited when Aquaman walks out in his comic-accurate costume. That was an exciting moment that James Wan didn't fuck with Aquaman's comic book origins. He embraced them. And fans love things like that because people have been reading Aquaman for years. Nobody thought anyone could make a serious Aquaman movie because he's always been a joke. Now, partly, that's thanks to Zack. He cast Momoa. He put him in his Justice League movie. And I think that James Wan moved him on in a brilliant way. People read comics. People get excited about their characters they've been reading in comics going on the big screen. And this is important. There has been a divide ever since the inception of the DCEU. And if my director had released a movie this weekend, I wouldn't be boring on about, hey, you WB, because they're not listening. We got the Snyder Cut because they were desperate for content. And that's the end of it. We pushed for it and it helped. The only way you'll get a restoration of the Snyderverse is if Hamada's movies fail. And where I am with that, I don't think they are going to fail. I think there's an audience for them. So that's where we are. I think if you want to fight for Snyder and his DC universe, you are within your rights to do that. But as a fandom, you've got to do it in a different way, because what you're doing is not working. Your tactics just make you look bad. I have people in this very chat who actually like Snyder's DC movies and are sick to death of the toxicity and the negativity. You're putting people off. And that's very sad as a fan of Snyder's DC movies, because you're going at it in the wrong way. You're going at it as a spoiled child, not getting your own way. And you're not talking the talk in the right way. You know, there are so many issues with the Snyderverse. There are. If you're a business, you want to reach your maximum consumer base. That's what being a business person is. So the current plan that they have is trying to reach more people. Now, I think Sarnoff was very clear in the Variety article about that she didn't, there's more than one fan base out there. And it seemed like she was being toxic, but actually she was talking like an intelligent businesswoman. And as a business, and we're talking about the DCIP here, we're not talking about something that's small. Army of the Dead is a small thing. This is why WB sold it off. It made no difference to them. It didn't have the potential of $1 billion box office. It probably didn't even have the potential of a 700 million box office. So they got rid of it. Now people are saying Tubi sold it off, it's a mistake. I think they're quite comfortable with selling it off because they sold it off. They didn't give it away, so they made money out of it, right? Who knows how much they got, but they said, yeah, thank you very much. We don't want to do this, Zach. So you're getting an uncomfortable divorce here. And now Snyder, while marketing this film, has amped it up. Now, Snyder changed what he says quite a lot. First, we were talking about 3 Justice League movies. Then we're talking about plans beyond Justice League, which is interesting to me. That shows that this is a man who doesn't want to let go of DC. What did he want? Did he want a little corner on HBO Max, as we've discussed here many times? Or did he want more than that? Yes, he did. And this is where the divides happened. And no business worth their salts, apart from the previous leadership, are going to allow someone like Snyder to run the DCEU, because nobody knew what would happen originally, if that would happen. Well, now they've seen what happened, and they didn't like the returns for it. That's the issue. That's the situation. So they have a plan, and they do have a plan, a very interesting plan that must be consumed before you can judge it. And I think unless you've seen those films and you know where those films are going, and let's be honest, I have had more of a look inside of the kingdom than any of you have, because I've seen the test screening for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. A very interesting film. It's not the film you think it's going to be. It's not a one and done. It isn't a closed off film. It very much has pride in setting up the DCEU. It very much, already in conversations with James Gunn, I've heard him say it on Twitter, that Peacemaker will be a big advert for the DCEU as well. It's not a standalone thing. And this is what they're going to be doing with all of their projects, because the Feige experiment is the right experiment. to have a successful franchise in the 21st century, you can't just do standalone movies. They have to be part of a shared universe. Otherwise, what's the point of having a franchise? You know? So I see what WB are attempting to do, and it's a difficult reality because you've got people fighting for the Snyderverse, but you've got people who don't really think with balance and opinion. You've got people who have got tunnel vision, who are part of an echo chamber. I see people talking about Army of the Dead, greatest film ever, it's a classic. There's no kind of, okay, I like this, I like that, but I didn't like that. And for me, that isn't a good response to a film. That Army of the Dead is the bestest ever. What does that even mean? It's the bestest ever. Bestest film ever? It's not, is it? I enjoyed it, but it isn't a classic. It looks fantastic. The man, I will never have the talent this man has at framing a picture. The man is a fucking artist, and no one can say different. But there's one thing being a good director, and one thing giving kind of an insane asylum the rights to the hugest IP in the business. This is potentially, this is bigger than the MCU, this is bigger than Bond, this is bigger than Star Wars. Do this right, you bring everyone to the plate. And this is what the Flashpoint movie is trying to do, reset this franchise. And if they get it right, they've got a gold mine. If they get it wrong, well, then Snyder could have a way in. I don't expect them to get it wrong. So I don't want anyone to think that the stuff said about WB affects them in any way. You're not going to change their minds. They're not going to change. They're not going to restore the Snyderverse. This new experiment of the multiverse strategy is going forward. There is no cancellation of Flashpoint or Aquaman 2 or Black Adam, and especially the Batman. And I know a lot of you people have been going at the Batman, hoping that you could stir some shit. Oh, not Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves don't get on. Well, David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson didn't get on for years on the X-Files. Did you notice they didn't get on when you were watching the show? Of course you fucking didn't. It really doesn't matter if a director and an actor gets on. But I don't believe that bullshit anyway, right? Is it plausible that Matt Reeves is a hard taskmaster? Too fucking right. It's his name on the fucking door of this film, right? Do you know the pressure of making a film from an existing IP? It's important, right? And when Rob Pattinson is getting plaudits for his performance, he's going to look at his director and thank him. Sasha just posted on Instagram, looks like she's got a haircut. She's got short hair. What? Sasha has got an Instagram. How do you spell her name? How do you spell her name? Is it on her Instagram? Sasha Calle. Hang on. Sasha Calle. Let's have a look. Let's call that looking good, Supergirl. Let's follow her. Post, stories, IGTV, reels. Yeah, that's what we want. Wow, thanks for that, Ronnie. She looks good, doesn't she? Look at this. That's our Supergirl, Sasha Calle. Now you tell me that this is not a goddess. Imagine her when she's in the fucking costume, my friends. The right pick. Andy Muschietti knows exactly what he's doing. This is going to be awesome. Because you know what? She's beautiful, but she also looks like she could handle herself in a bar, right? So if someone breaks off a bottle in a bar, this young woman looks like she can handle herself. She looks like she's lived. She looks like she's seen a few things. And I like that. Maybe it's for a wig, maybe. Still looks a good length. That might, to be fair, Ronnie, I think this could be, I think she will have a short haircut as Supergirl. It might not be that long. I think this is the kind of character that Andy's going for, so that's interesting. You never know, I might get a response. So yes, very exciting. Thank you for that, Ronnie. And this is the kind of thing that we want. You know, an awesome Supergirl. An awesome franchise that we can all be excited about. Ronnie Dodge, short hair Supergirl sounds badass. Yes, it does. Because this is going to be a more accurate depiction. She may not have blonde hair. That might be her hair color. And I'll be honest with you, and I know people are going to lose their shit. I couldn't give a shit if she's got blonde hair. I want to see a lived-in Supergirl. I want to see a Supergirl who's a young woman. And I think we're going for the comic book Supergirl, apart from the blonde hair. Someone who is a bit rough and ready, who isn't sweetness and light. And that's cool to me. Make her interesting. Make her a character we can follow. From the moment I heard we were having Supergirl in Flash, I was very, very excited because I love this character. So much potential. I'm surprised we didn't have a Supergirl from the beginning. Another issue with Snyder. He gave us a prequel comic with Supergirl in it. Maybe we should have seen Supergirl in Man of Steel. A little cameo, not making it mysterious, not 6 or 7 movies down the line, Zach, and then you can tell us what you were going to do with her. You didn't. She's not even in your fucking Justice League movie. I always assumed she would at least be in your Justice League movie. Where is she? And these are the kind of issues that I have. I think we need air conditioning. Ronnie Dodge, I don't care about her hair color. It makes it unique and different. I like the short hair. I would be a fan of that. I like that style. As I say, it makes her look like a contemporary young woman, someone who lives in the modern world, who has to deal with the modern world. I hope she's the Supergirl from the comics who hates humanity and is bitter because Supergirl didn't come to Earth as a baby. Supergirl remembers Argo City. She remembers Krypton. She wishes she could be back at Krypton. She remembers her mum and dad. She doesn't want to be on this planet. She didn't have much of a choice on coming to Earth, but she was sent to look after her cousin. And ultimately, her cousin's already leaving her life. Now, I hope we get a chance for her to have a relationship with a Superman. Even if it's not Cavill's Superman, I'm not too fussed. The character's more important than any actor. So whoever they give us in the Central Universe, because Black Superman is not part of the Central Universe, but he could be the leader of the Multiverse Justice League, which would be exciting in itself. I think we are getting something special with this new universe. And I implore people to give it a chance. But some people just aren't DC fans. They're Snyder fans. And that's okay. You don't have to support this. But you don't have the right to tell me, oh, you can't like Zach's free movies. You can't hashtag restore the Snyderverse and support this new universe. No, it doesn't go like this. You keep on throwing at me that they're a toxic studio. They did this and that. Go to any studio. Go on any set and see what you get. Ronnie Dodge, I think Supergirl will be a bit harsh to Barry, but by the end of the movie, she warms up to him and become friends. It'll be interesting. Yeah, I think she is going to be a harsh character, but we don't know what kind of Barry Allen we're going to get. Is it the same kind of one from the Snyder Cut, or is it more from the Justice League? Is he going to be more of a Joker, or is he going to be something completely different? I expect him to be quite a serious character to a point, because he is making the decision to turn back time. This is his number one rule, not to turn back time. Now, obviously, the Snyder Cut isn't canon, but I like that from Zack, that he had the Flash saying, I'm going to have to break my number one rule and travel in time, travel faster than the speed of light. I really liked that. I thought that was awesome. So this is the film that changes the franchise. And that's always excited me, because I've said for a long time, we need to do something like this. How do we fix what we got? And I think a lot of fans were saying on my videos as well, it has to be Flashpoint. That's the only way. You cannot necessarily fix it, because I do like the Snyderverse. But as a business, it does need fixing. And that's undeniable. So, you know, I think we're all on Twitter all day. We see a lot of negative, toxic people saying a lot of negative, toxic things. Ronnie Dodge, the one thing I want to see is Barry doing his CSI job in The Flash and in Justice League. He got that job at the end of both versions of the movie. Yeah, so he probably will be there. It's interesting in this iteration how he didn't grow up with Iris and he only just meets her in the Snyder Cut. Don't forget, he doesn't meet her at all in Justice League. So that's interesting. They may change that. Don't be surprised, because if Justice League's canon, we didn't see her, but they could have grown up together. There could be a Joe West. Was Joe West from the comics, or was he created in the Flash series? Jesus Christ, people are really shitting on the Flash series right now. Oh my God, I was on TikTok and this kid was laughing at it. So yeah, it'll be interesting what his relationship with Iris is as well. But yeah, we want to see him doing his CSI thing, because that's an iconic thing after all. And I can see that happening. This is a film that's been teased to be about Barry Allen, but also a film where we will see multiple versions of different DC characters. So that's the kind of garnish of the film, if you like, that we're opening the walls of the multiverse of all these universes that have all these characters, but they're a bit different. The multiverse is something that DC have been doing for years. Flashpoint is something they've used a couple of times to reboot the universe. And of course, we know Barry's going to reboot the universe in the DCEU in the Flash movie. We don't really know if the Flash is going to be the title or it's the working title. Will they actually call it Flashpoint? It'll be interesting. Imagine if they call it Flashpoint Paradox. That would be cool. I'll tell you what would annoy certain people if it was called Flashpoint Reboot. Imagine that, Flashpoint Reboot. That's giving the game away, though, isn't it? Oh, my God, that would be nuts, though. That would be insane. And so, yes, I'm looking forward to this version of Supergirl. I think she's going to be awesome. I think she's a great pick. She looks great. Clearly, she's Latino. Andy's Latino as well, so that's cool. That's the kind of representation I like, because Latinos don't get as much screen time as black people do, by the way. So it's good to represent minorities that are not heavily represented. So I think she's a great pick. I think she really is a great pick, and I'm so excited. And I don't think you understand how excited she is for doing this. This is an opportunity for her. She knows it's an opportunity. She's trying her best. She's excited. Ronnie Dodge, having him show up late at a crime scene is such a typical Barry thing, definitely. Ronnie Dodge, with her hair cut, I'm guessing she's starting filming very soon. Yes, she could have started already. Obviously, they've been in production, but they have been focusing on the Gotham element. So, yes, she could start her little portion very soon. Some scoopers have been saying she's not in it very much. I don't believe that. She was announced for a reason, unless they're going to announce a movie for her very soon or an HBO Max show. Who knows? But I think she's keeping her black hair. That's what I think. I could be wrong. But I don't think, to be honest with you, with her complexion, blonde's going to suit her, to be honest. And she's probably better off just keeping her natural hair colour. And it's not a big deal to me. I know for some it will be a big deal. Ronnie Dodge, I know a Supergirl is in the work. So I think that that's her movie. Well, yeah, if there's a Supergirl film in the works, I mean, there's been one in the works for quite a while. But Andy's done this casting, which is very interesting. Andy Muschietti may do that Supergirl film, but then again, they're obsessed with female directors for female characters, so probably that's not the case. So it'd be interesting who gets that. Hopefully someone who knows what they're fucking doing. But yeah, it's intriguing times for sure. Joel Davis, hello, Mr. Mickey. What's your opinion on the rumour of St. Maximin joining Liverpool from Newcastle? St. Maximin joining. Oh, hang on. What's your opinion? Well, he's a good player, isn't he? But I mean, after all, he does play for Newcastle. I mean, how much can he change them? So obviously, we're approaching the summer transfer market, and if any football fans or soccer fans are watching right now, when we approach the summer, many YouTubers who talk about football and publications will just promote bullshit just to get your attention, just to get your views, and just feel like. So be careful what you swallow, because after all, these are just rumours. Ronnie Dodge, Andy and Walter Hamada auditioned over 400 girls, so she definitely has a big future to play. 400 girls, that's a lot, isn't it? Jesus Christ. I forgot they auditioned and they didn't just handpick her, but they did their due diligence. It's important. So they didn't just pick someone. That's what I like. Sam Dejan Reviews, are you going to talk about Wonder Woman Trinity news? There's no Wonder Woman Trinity news, Sam. Has Warner Brothers announced the Wonder Woman Trinity film? If Warner Brothers have announced the Wonder Woman Trinity film, I'll talk about it. I have already responded to it, and I said it would be fucking awesome, and I even kind of fielded questions about who could direct it. But yeah, there's little else I can really put to the plate about that, unless you're telling me there's an official announcement from the studio. When there's an official announcement, definitely I'll talk about it with excitement. Scott Edwards, what's up? Hello, Scott. What's up, my friend? And how far are you into the Smallville universe now? I don't mind talking about rumours, but I don't want to do them to death because who knows if they're true. Scott Edwards, I'm excited for the Batgirl movie. Oh, yes, it's going to be awesome, Scott. I can't wait to see who they cast in that movie. Imagine if it's another race bender. Imagine that. Scott Edwards, halfway through season 4. Awesome. Awesome season. You've got a lot to discover about the Smallville universe, especially season 4. Scott Edwards, I want to see Batgirl and Supergirl team up. Well, I think you're going to get that. I think they'll be part of the Justice League. So, Ronnie Dodge, finally people arriving. I know people are coming in. I thought it was going to be a dead night, Scott. You never know because people come and leave. I mean, it's all about the title of the video, Scott. And maybe I got the title of the video wrong. I thought stirring it up a bit and saying WB don't care about your hate may get a few people in. So you never really know. There's not much news out there. It's very difficult to do the clickbait when there's nothing to clickbait about. There's literally nothing fucking going on. I mean, there was a bit more interest with the Army of the Dead title yesterday, but I've got nothing really new to say about Army of the Dead. Scott Edwards, so where do you think the DCEU is headed specifically over the next few years and films? Well, where we're heading to, obviously you understand there's a multiverse strategy that Flashpoint will reboot the DCEU. So I think what you're going to get is a variety of films about a variety of characters. They are going to, bring in characters like Plastic Man, Z-list characters, but also they're going to do kind of the bigger characters as well. We're already getting Batman. We're getting a Superman movie as well. And what you're going to get, Scott, this is my theory, we're going to get a multiverse Justice League. probably with President Superman. That's my theory anyway. That's why they're doing the Superman of color as the leader of this multiverse Justice League. And this is where I think we are headed for in the next few years. I think also potentially with the multiverse strategy, we could get a proper crisis on Infinite Earths. So I think they will set up a big villain as an arc to go through in the next few years as well. I think every film will have post-credit scenes as well, which will kind of tease what's to come next. So I think it's very exciting, Scott, and I think there's going to be a lot of characters announced that do not exist within the DCEU right now. Ronnie Dodge, no news on Wonder Woman on Twitter. There's no news. Sam Dejan is talking about something from a scooper, which I've responded to. Sam Dejan reviews, my Smallville box set arrived today. Wow! If you haven't seen it, start watching it, and we can talk about something awesome, Sam, can't we? So start watching it. Remember, the first season is a bit slow. It's a bit Dawson's Creek, but it gets better and better. It's a very charming first season. You're going to love it. Scott Edwards, so you think Flashpoint is the beginning of this next arc? Yes. Basically, they're rebooting. Barry will reboot the DCEU, which means everything will be reset, but not forgotten. Andy Machetti's already told us. It's a reboot, but everything will be remembered, which means, unfortunately, there's certain films we have to remember. Scott Edwards, have you started Stargirl? No, I must watch at least the first episode just for you, Scott, just to make you happy. I promise I will watch it. JG, that's cool. Then we can continue hating them and giving them shit for the god-awful products they are putting out. JG, can you explain to me what goddamn awful products they're putting out there? Obviously, they're rebooting the universe. So there's a plan to reset all of this. So if you're talking about Birds of Prey, you have to blame Margot Robbie. You're talking about Wonder Woman 84, you have to blame the director. They gave those two women freedom of creativity, right? That's what you're all bitching about, right? And it didn't work, by the way. Scott Edwards, have you seen Superman and Lois? I can't watch the new episode, I'm afraid, but I've seen a lot of clips. Absolutely fantastic. Personal highlight. When Superman explains to his son that he has to stop himself from losing his temper, and he has to prove to the world that he's not a monster. That was a brilliant moment at the end. So I've seen that clip. I have no access to the episode yet. I might check out later on a site if I can watch it. But unfortunately, I have no access to Superman and Lois anymore. But I will see if it's possible for me to have access. But what I think I'm going to do, Scott, is wait for it to be available to buy on Prime Video, or when it's available on physical media. Scott Edwards, only 11 more weeks until the Suicide Squad. Very, very exciting. Have you noticed, everyone, who's missing? Bobcat. Bobcat's left me. He's probably watching that woman YouTube, that female YouTuber, isn't he? Or maybe he's watching Army of the Dead. I reckon he's watching Army of the Dead. Let's hope he's okay, right? I don't even think he's on Twitter. Let's see. Let's see if I don't follow him, but let's. JG, the Suicide Squad, Shazam 2, hopefully no more Birds of Prey. Superman and Lois, basically a poor man's MOS. They are still churning out the cheap CW shows, which are just insulting to DC. First of all, Superman and Lois visually may look a little bit like Man of Steel, and that should be a good thing. But the actual narrative of the TV show is nothing like Man of Steel. He's a grounded character in this. He has children. He has a wife. He's balancing the responsibility of one of his children actually having powers. It's a great show. And apart from the visual Superman stuff, it's nothing like the Snyderverse. So that's a narrative. That's a dead narrative, JG. What did you think of Army of the Dead? The first 3/4 of the film is fantastic. Typical Zack, looks beautiful. It's a work of art. Visually, the characters are good, but he doesn't develop them enough. You know, the Coyote is my favourite character, but then she was awesome for the first 3/4 of the film. Then she became dumb. Then she kind of didn't tell anyone about the head in the bag. And then Snyder killed her off. He killed all his good characters off and left the most annoying character to survive. And that disappointed me. But as an experience, it was a good experience. It's not a classic. It's not as good as World War Z, but I liked it. It was okay. Scott Edwards, I personally would prefer Kal-El stay as Superman, even if they have to recast Henry Cavill. Don't mean that in a bad way. Totally get that. Sam Dejan reviews. My Smallville box set arrived today. That's awesome. Cavari looks like Deathstroke will show up in the Flash movie, according to Humberto Gonzalez. Yes, Deathstroke. Umberto showed. I showed the picture on this morning's stream. A picture of Keaton's Batman and Deathstroke, which for me is very exciting. Sam Dejan reviews. I'm watching Smallville. Let me know what you think, my friend. It is one of my favourite comic book shows of all time. It is my favourite. I think it's one of the best DC franchises ever created. And this is a show that took its time and earned its right to be a superhero show. It didn't rush from a Superman film to a Justice League film. It took its time and even ultimately had its own Justice League. JG, I think that's the purpose of it, though. I like the fact that there's so much unanswered that it's open to assumption. Well, I don't think killing off all your best characters and leaving the most annoying, whiny bitch alive is a good thing. And also, there is a great concept of intelligent zombies. But we don't really go with that much. Maybe he's looking to answer that later on. Scott Edwards, will you watch a Flash and Stargirl crossover? Maybe. Well, the Flash is getting bashed to bits right now, Scott. Somebody save me. Smallville is the best. As I said, it literally had a Justice League. It took its time. It set up its character. It's even got an awesome fucking Lex Luthor. We had Zod. All right, Doomsday wasn't great, but the human element of Doomsday was a good idea, and I like that. I like Davis Bloom. Obviously, we got an awesome Green Arrow. I just think that Smallville is an amazing show, and it is a DC franchise. Literally, it introduced so many DC characters, and I think it's probably the best DC live-action franchise we've ever had. JG, it's not what we want as an audience, but that's what I mean by being the purpose Zach likes to mess with and get his audience thinking. Yeah, that's true, but at the end of the day, I was watching a movie, and really, why should I keep on watching a future sequel, for example? You've killed off everyone I like. What's next? I suppose you can continue the saga of the zombies, which is interesting, but you should have just killed her off as well, man. If you're going to kill off the good characters, right, kill off the annoying, whiny bitch as well, please. So I liked the film. I enjoyed it. It was a good experience. I don't like it as much as World War Z. I said it before, World War Z is like the ultimate modern day zombie movie. I really liked that film. It worked for me. You see society kind of invaded by zombies, and you see so many great sequences. But Army of the Dead is a good film without being the best thing ever. It doesn't have to be the best thing ever. I think on Twitter there's no nuance to the discussions about Army of the Dead. There's no balance. It's the best ever, and that's it. And anyone who says different is trying to be toxic. It's not about that. JG, thumbs up. So I can't have a real discussion on Twitter about Army of the Dead because people have no nuance to their discussions. You can't just say, Zach's the best, it's the best thing ever. Are you fucking joking me? I want a fucking conversation about it, man. How can I have a conversation about something if the only thing you want to hear is it's the best thing fucking ever? It's not the best fucking thing ever. It's not the worst thing ever. It's good. It's solid. It's okay, but it is an inconsistent film. The ending is disappointing. And even the guy on the plane, he was the wrong guy to put on the plane because he wasn't that great a character. If he was the vault breaker, right, on the plane and just discovers he's been bitten, I'm going to be gutted because guess what? I love the guy with the vault breaker. I loved Coyote. If that was her on the plane, I'd be devastated. That was my favourite character. But him, I had very little interest in that character. I liked him. I liked his relationship with the vault breaker, but a character on his own, he wasn't that effective to do that with him in the last scene. Jeff Hill, hey Big Mouth, hey Jeff, I hope you're doing okay. So they're my issues with Army of the Dead, but also there are great moments when Dave Bautista's love interest gets killed. That was so devastating, wasn't it? But Dave Bautista, he's in the film, but he didn't seem like he wasn't front and center all the time. He seemed to be, I think other people got more screen time than him. And also, he was such an understated character in the film. As I say, if you're going to bring Dave Bautista in, you use him for his strengths. I mean, imagine Mr. T in the A-Team as fucking Mad Murdoch or something. It's not going to work, is it? So they tried to make him this ordinary family guy. He did it well. Dave Bautista, for a WWE star, is actually a pretty solid actor. But I think, give us the Guardians of the Galaxy Bautista. That film's even better than it was. I'm telling you. So I know some people are saying, the Suicide Squad's going to be worried about this film. No, and no. Ray Dodge just looked at a comic cover for Supergirl. Sasha's new hair is comic book spot on. If she got black hair in this comic you looked at, doesn't matter. Oh yeah, they're going to be faithful to comics to a point. JG, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 though. You're going to have to give me more than that. You didn't like it? It's obviously not as mainstream as the first one. JG, big no, lol. Oh, you don't like Guardians 2? Or you don't like him in Guardians 2? I think he was awesome in Guardians 2. But I preferred him in Guardians 1. But you lot, when you lot see the Suicide Squad, you're going to drop your drawers. Or your jaws, not your drawers, your jaws. Because that film, it's interesting. And look, I think, right, if you're just a Snyder fan and not a DC fan, just follow him on Netflix. That's fine, isn't it? I'm a DC fan more than a Snyder fan, but I like his DC movies. And I'd love for him to have an DC Elseworld studio he could work at, because it's such a wasted talent not to have him doing something DC. But unfortunately, he conducted himself in the wrong way. He went against the studio. You can't do that. These are big hitters. You remember J.R. Ewing in Dallas? That's what these studio execs are like. They don't let you fuck around with them. And at the end of the day, you can't beat these people. You can't. You may think because we got the Snyder Cut, we beat them, but we didn't beat them. They wanted that because they needed content on HBO Max. That's it. And now, by the way, there's another bit of controversy about Zack. Now, they told him that him and Jim Lee couldn't do their kind of Batman Joker comic because of a lack of funds. Now, obviously, that's bullshit. But let's look at what Warner Brothers gave him after greenlighting the Snyder Cut. A $70 million budget, permission to do Justice is Grey, and a remastered BVS. They allowed him to do all of that. And that would have cost them money, but they did it. So it's all very well talking about the bad things that they did to him, but also they put a lot of money his way and faith. To allow him to remaster BVS, that was quite a positive thing from the studio. So you people have got to talk with balance. The tunnel vision doesn't work. So it's all very well saying they've done this, they've done that, they haven't, it can't just be about one director, can it? This is the DC IP, everyone. The DC IP. Joker's good, though. Wonder Woman 1 was good, minus the final act. No, that's your opinion, and I respect it. But I love the third act of Wonder Woman. There is nothing wrong with it. There is nothing wrong with CG battles. It was awesome, and it worked. The Joker movie is awesome, awesome. And yes, Phoenix is better than Leto. Facts. Sam Zan reviews. Why isn't there a remastered Man of Steel? Well, I don't know, actually. He doesn't seem to want to mess around with Man of Steel. He said there's no director's cut. He got everything he wanted in the film. So it's interesting, Sam, but he doesn't seem to want to remaster it. To be honest with you, that film's in pretty good condition. I mean, I watch it at least once a week. That film looks, it doesn't really need anything, does it? If there's no extra bits, which Zach says there isn't, there's no point. They'd just be ripping you off for the money. You know, if there's a 4-hour Man of Steel epic, then take my fucking money now. But there's not. So just, yeah, I'm fine with what I've got. I think Man of Steel is got a great balance. JG, what do you think of Nolan's Batman trilogy? Batman Begins is my favourite. I enjoyed The Dark Knight. It's a very good film. And ultimately, The Dark Knight Rises is pretty cool. It's got a pretty cool concept. I thought Bane was pretty cool. I think it worked. I like what he did to Bruce Wayne and Batman. He took him right to the depths of despair. It's probably the best version of live-action Batman, but I've also got a soft spot for Batman Returns. Leroy Kong, hello. I say we need the Snyderverse. Man of Steel is a masterpiece. Man of Steel is a great movie written by Christopher Nolan and David Goyer and directed by Zack Snyder. Yep, and those people being involved with the film made it work. Even though there was some complaints about that film, I think more people like Man of Steel from the mainstream and diehard DC fans than they did BVS, and I think that's a fact. But you see, it's all right having Zack Snyder make indie films or make zombie films, but when it comes to an IP that needs to have a balance or about $1 billion a movie. JG, thanks, Mick. You're welcome, JG. I don't know what I did, but you're welcome. Sam DeJan reviews. Army of the Dead is trending on Netflix. Does that mean Warner Brothers screwed up by not letting him continue? No. Because what does it prove? What does a trend prove? What does that actually prove? If he continued the DCEU, he would please you and me because we enjoy the film. But what about the other people who want something different? The fans that have been buying comics for years. You know, there's money to be made that Snyder can't make them. This is why they're going a different direction. This isn't personal to them, but Snyder's made it personal as well now. Sam Jan reviews, they can continue the Snyderverse. They don't need Snyder. Well, it's his vision, isn't it? So it'll be a bit odd. So I don't think a film trending on Netflix, because that's not a $1 billion grosser, is it? Leroy Kong, Army of the Dead is great. Great Zack Snyder should continue with DC. WB are false. JG, but haven't WB made it personal too? Well, let's look at it like this. WB made their decisions, JG, because of the business. He wasn't bringing in the money. He was bringing in controversy. He wasn't bringing in the money for the films that they thought they needed. Man of Steel wasn't his baby, really. He just directed it. That was Nolan and Goyer's baby. That's why they said to Nolan and Goyer, we don't want you anymore to write these because that film didn't make $1 billion. We're blaming you. Off you go. So that's what happened, right? So they said, Zach, it's all yours now. That film not making $1 billion is not your fault. Go and we want Batman in the Superman sequel. Do it. So that's what they did, right? So, but then BVS happened and it divided people like The Last Jedi did. And they knew they couldn't carry on with Snyder. The reaction scared them shitless. So their decisions weren't personal, but it became personal. Zack made it personal when the Snyder Cut of all things was green-lit. He was exposing personal stuff that you don't do between a director and a studio. Ray Fisher made it personal as well. So basically, they gave as good as they got. And that's my balanced kind of view. Dave Ethan, he could be a producer, Sam. Sanderson Reviews, Discovery will restore the Snyderverse. JG, that wanted $1 billion since 2013. I don't care if it's Superman. It's totally unrealistic. It is not unrealistic for a Superman film to be making $1 billion. It is not unrealistic for a Batman and a Superman movie together to make around Force Awakens money. These are the ambitions that they want, and they are realistic ambitions. Dave Ethan, Kavari, Ray Fisher made it personal. He did, Kavari. JG, that's true, they did. I think you're right to that extent. Thank you. Leroy Com, Zack Snyder did nothing wrong. He did everything right. WBR cowards again. You sound like a Snyder hater. Zack is my one. Oh, give me strength. They gave them eyes, but they cannot see. Neither can Superman through lead. Sanders and Reviews, Man of Steel is the first movie, I Be the Universe. It didn't need to make $1 billion. Well, they wanted it to make $1 billion because it's a Superman movie and he's their #1 character. And they felt that Goyer and Nolan failed them in that. So this is why Goyer and Nolan were no longer involved. Now, you know, they went with Snyder with the sequel, and that was a worse situation because of the divisive reaction to the film. So it's clear that Snyder can't create a universe that they want, or won't create a universe that they want. They want it to be applicable to all age groups and a variety of demos. Snyder can't do that, or won't do that. And that's the truth. The Sanders and Reviews managed to do it. No, I've read that. So yeah, I always look at this, I analyze these situations, and you've got to look at it as a business. When you talk about WB, you've got to look at it from their point of view. They're not just doing this because they hate Zack Snyder. They want to make money. They want to be successful. They've seen what the MCU can do, and they want to do that money too. And why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't DC be the most successfully financial kind of IP of all time? Why shouldn't it? They've got the characters. They've got the platform. Sanders and Reviews, WB don't have a say. Discovery will restore the Snyderverse. What? They will own Warner Media. So we don't know what they're going to do, if anything. Ronnie Dodge, there is a version of Supergirl called Sir L, and she has black hair and a black costume. Well, that's interesting. We'll see what happens there. That's a very interesting find, Ronnie. Thank you for that. Leroy Kong, it didn't make $1 billion because of ungrateful, dirty-minded people. MOS, BVS, and Zack's jail way better than all 23 MCU movies. Karari, Zack Snyder is a polarizing director. He is. And as I've already said, if I was in charge, I would create 3 different DC studios. DC Studios, DC Elseworld Studios, and DC Black Label Studios. And I put Zack in the Elseworld Studios. And, you know, you can have Superman with 2 heads on him as far as I'm concerned. If you're doing Elseworlds, I would utilize him. But the Elseworlds is the perfect place for him. But they don't want to use him at all. They've had enough of him. And once you start exposing private things, this is when studios are not going to tolerate you. Did you really think that Ray Fisher was going to win this battle? Did you really think Snyder coming out talking about Wayne T. Carr being dropped was going to win him any friends at Warner Brothers? This is not what you do. This is not how directors conduct themselves. This is why Henry Cavill's got a magnificent career, because he knows how to conduct himself. He's an old-fashioned movie star. He's one of the few movie stars, and this is why he's been successful. He's looked after his career, and quite right too. The Sam Dejan Reviews, they don't have to be the MCU. Let them do their own thing. No, I'm not saying they have to be the MCU. They want MCU money. Do you understand? Ronnie Dodge, the thing is, Discovery and Warner Media are not going to cave in again to fans again. Sorry to burst your bubble. This message is held for review. JG, you're not right about making $1 billion. Low I am. In 2013, a Superman movie wouldn't crack people. Think SM, boring. SN, whatever that is, boring in comparison. to BM. BVS may be 1 billion if they released UE Marvel own cake ship. No. Superman made right can clear $1 billion. A Batman and a Superman movie should be making Force Awakens 2 billion. That's those two characters combined. Get it right, and it's massive. And they didn't for the mainstream and diehard comic fans. And really, you're living in denial, I think. For Christ's sake, JG, look at how much the first Iron Man made. Leroy Kong, WB will fail. You are mocking Zack Snyder. No, I'm not. The Hamadaverse will not work. Yes, it will. Sanderjan reviews. They rushed it. The MCU took their time. Exactly. Who rushed what? Whose decisions were they? And what person decided, I know, let's put a Suicide Squad movie after a Batman versus Superman movie, a Suicide Squad movie that has nothing to do with this arc whatsoever. Ronnie Dodge, Sir El Earth is a Maya, which is interesting if that's the version they're going for. For Shash, that's interesting. I wonder if they do that, if she's an alternate supergirl. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, could be Ronnie. That's exciting. Kavari, BVS didn't make $1 billion because it's a bad movie. I don't agree with that. That's your truth, not mine. I think BVS is a great indie superhero movie in the kind of realms of Logan. And if they marketed it as the film it was, I think more people would have accepted it and enjoyed it. Ronnie Dodge, Sasha, that's right, JG, first Iron Man made $585 million for an Iron Man movie. Not bad, is it? That means Superman should be making double that, mate. Do you understand? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Sam the Jam reviews, people didn't know who Iron Man was. That's why it made money. No. If they didn't know who he was, he shouldn't have made that money. Because it's a good film, it made money. Do you understand? It made money because people liked it. An unknown character that no one gave a shit about. So Superman is a character people do give a shit about, whatever people say. He's the best superhero. So much potential. Leroy Kong, BVS is a masterpiece, very well made. I say screw all the Snyder haters. Because the DCEU was a clusterfuck from day one. Even though I like Man of Steel and I love BVS. Kavari, I know the Snyder Cut wants the Hamadaverse to fail, but it won't. I don't think it's going to fail. I think they're throwing everything at this. And I think this is a big opportunity to reboot the universe, which means none of these films are really canon anymore, but they won't be forgotten. And we're dealing with new canon. And I think that's important. There's been so many mistakes made. And it's not just with the Snyder films. Wonder Woman 84, clusterfuck. Birds of Prey, clusterfuck. These films, we do need a reboot here. Sanders and Ryu, Samada leaving, so what? He doesn't matter. He's not leaving. No one said he's leaving. He hasn't announced that he's leaving. So it's quite easy, Sam, actually. If his films are successful, he's going nowhere. That's how business is run. You are judged on your results. If you're a football manager or a soccer manager, you're judged on your results. You don't get the sack because you do good things and win trophies. So if he's successful, he stays. If his films are flops and they don't work for the audiences, then he goes. It's quite simple as that. Sam the Jam reviews. Why is announcing Batgirl then he knows he's leaving, so he's trying to rush the movie out? No, Sam. He doesn't know he's leaving. He doesn't know he's leaving. He's not rushing an announcement. It's been announced because they're making it like any other studio would announce any other film. JG, BVS criticism is pretty hypocritical, such as Batman doesn't kill when he's literally blown people up in all other movies. He probably has. Look, I don't look at details like that, so I don't know who he's killed and who he hasn't. I think there's killing in cold blood, JG, and there's kind of leaving someone in a moving train or something like that. It's a big difference. It's like some of you people saying Superman killed the 3 villains from Krypton in Superman 2. That's not the case. They slid at the bottom of the fucking fortress. We don't know what happened to them. Reeves' Superman killed no one. Fact. But some of this propaganda is used, you see. I don't like this bullshit that's used. There's a big difference between exploding cars and someone literally killing someone. Now, I'm quite comfortable with Batman killing more than I am Superman because he's Batman. But I think deconstructing characters, new characters nobody knows, is cool. But deconstructing existing characters is probably a no-no and probably not a good idea. Kavari, Hamada DC fandom will leave some fans crying. Yeah, I think so. And us crying with laughter. Ronnie Dodge, I'm a DC fan, not a Snyder fan. Sorry, Snyder fans, I'm moving on. Flash is going to be an event movie. JG, Keaton's Batman blew people up. Yes, but not as cold-blooded murder, right? It's not the same as shooting someone, is it? It's a bit different, isn't it? But you agree that Christopher Reeve's Superman in Superman 2 didn't kill the villains from Krypton, because some of you people over on Twitter keep on saying that, and that's just bullshit. Christopher Reeve's Superman never killed anyone. Kavari, Leroy Kong. Leroy Kong, Zack Snyder got all the DC heroes right. JG, yeah, he defo did, lol. No, Christopher Reeve's Superman didn't kill anyone. I think a lot of you people are kind of deluded. You've got tunnel vision. And you don't understand Christopher Reeve's Superman and what he means to people, right? So, because this deluded generation of movie fans don't have classic movies to look to, you've got one and dones. You live in a very chaotic society where you're talking about films all day on a platform. We didn't get to do that. We watched our films. We didn't overanalyze them. We watched them and enjoyed them. We didn't nitpick, right? When I saw Clark kiss Lois and she forgets everything, even though it's a little bit dumb, I accepted it because it was a great movie and it was okay. And I didn't write a letter to Warner Brothers spewing about them. Ronnie Dodge, people coming in here slating other movies is starting to wind me up. Not in a good mood as it is. Sorry, Mick. It's all right, Ronnie. Stay here with me, though. I need you. Don't let it wind you up, mate. I know how to. Listen, I'm a good talker. I know how to deal with this kind of thing. I'm fed up, like you, I'm fed up of this bullshit propaganda. Leave the movies I grew up with alone. Because, and I'm going to give you a hot take. Take Zack Snyder's VFX computers and CGI computers. He would never be able to make the film that Dick Donner did. Never. Without VFX, Snyder is nothing. At least admit that. At least admit that. What is Zack Snyder without VFX? Tell me that. Richard Donner didn't need VFX. Ronnie Dodge, I'm just having a mini bitch fit. That's fine. That's what the internet's here for. I just had one. Manny V, Lowell Mick, go see the Donner cut. Sit through Zod down the crevice. Please don't cry salty tears. Plus, go read comics. I don't need to go and read comics, Manny. You're a deluded little Snyder acolyte. At the end of the day, as I say, leave my movies alone. Christopher Reeve's Superman killed no one. This is what you people do. Come up with shit propaganda. You're full of shit. I love Zack's movies, but a lot of you people are just little followers. And it's like, he's the best, he's the best, he's the best. He's not the best. Without his VFX, he's nothing. And the directors I grew up with are superior to him because they don't need VFX. You go and read a comic. Kalari, stop acting like Snyder is the second coming of Christ. Leroy Kong, Zack Snyder's the greatest ever, way better than Richard Donner. He's not. He's not better than Richard Donner. All right, go find Zack Snyder and take away his CGI computers. JG Lowell, Reeves Superman nailed Zod. You're doing the exact thing that your complaint people are calling out. No, he did not kill Zod. Christopher Reeve's Superman did not kill Zod. He picked him up, he slid down. That's it. That's all you saw. You're deluded. You're the deluded one, not me. You are deluded. You think Zack Snyder is Jesus Christ, and you think everything he does is right, but take away his CGI. He's nothing. He does nothing without CGI. That's it. That's all he can do. He pushed him to the abyss. There's no abyss. It slides down. That's it. That's what you see. That's all you see. Did you see Zod stop breathing? Did you see Zod die? Did you see Superman snap Zod's neck in the most pathetic thing ever? Superman snapping a man's neck? Yeah. So children can't see it. So my nieces and nephews couldn't see Superman, a fucking character they've stand all their little lives, right? Leroy Cohn, why are you mocking Zack Snyder? Ronnie Dodge, I got your back, Mick. Thank you, Ronnie. Karari, BVS third out CGI was arse. No, listen, Karari, the man's very good with CGI. But at the end of the day, without CGI, Snyder can't operate. All Zods get what they deserve in both versions. Yeah, in Reeves Zod slid down the igloo, and I don't know. Well, let's talk about Michael Shannon Zod, one of the best DCEU villains. Why would you kill him? Why wouldn't you want to bring him back again? Why would you do that? Doesn't even make fucking sense. He snaps the guy's neck, screams a little bit, and then he gets, I think you're kind of hot. Then he goes, welcome to the planet, Clark, and he's already forgotten he snapped the guy's neck. It's never mentioned again. That should have been the moment Clark says, I know what it's like to kill. I never want to feel that way again. That's how proper storytellers operate. JG, Kavari, mate, I remember when I had my first beer. Do ya? That's nice. Ronnie Dodge, they're acting like Snyder is DC when Snyder was making movies before, when DC was making movies before Snyder was born. Bloody hell. I think JG's trying to brag that he's younger than us. That means you know nothing about life, son. Look, I like Zack's movies. I like his DC movies. But he isn't the second coming. And there's DC without him. JG. It's about being a man, JG. Women don't want boys. Well, they wanted me when I was a boy, but that's because I was bigger than the average bear. Kavari, Ronnie Dodge, so true. I'm a DC fan first. Ooh, Snyder. Oh dear. We are really going for it now, aren't we? It's just funny because I like Zack's DC movies, but at the end of the day, Leroy Kong, DC Films is dead without the Snyderverse. It will not work. Am I not right though? What would Zack be able to do without VFX and CGI? Tell me what he'd be able to do. He relies on that technology. I mean, they all do these days because they don't want to put stuff in the camera because obviously it's more expensive. But in the days of Richard Donner, he had no choice. And look at what he created. The planet Krypton looks like a planet. They did their best. It looks awesome. The fortress looks gorgeous. Snyder didn't even have a Fortress of Solitude. And that I didn't like. That I did not like. Oh dear. Kavari. Right, Leroy, this is not from me. This is from Kavari. Leroy Kong, you're delusional, my friend. JG, mate, Zack's literally giving you a universe and characters with their own movies. I know. I like Zack's DC movies. I like them. But we've discussed this already, JG. Why they're moving forward from him. Because they're a business and they want to make top dollar. And Snyder isn't interested in top dollar. Right? He wants everything his own way. He doesn't want to compromise at all. But it's their IP and it's their money. And they're their characters, right? And they want to make top dollar. They want to get the most money they can. And with Snyder involved, I'm sorry, as much as I love his DC movies, that's not going to happen. JG, did you not like there was a Fortress of Solitude because Superman couldn't throw Sorry, because Superman couldn't throw Zod to his death. Oh, you mean when Zod just slid down the ice slope in the fortress? No, that's not why I didn't like it, because the fortress is awesome and Superman should have a fortress of solitude. You lose, JG. Sorry, boy. Boy. I want you to go to your room and kiss your crucifix of Zack Snyder. Kiss him, bend your knee and say, I tried, Lord. Lord, I tried for you, I tried. Listen, JG, you people just create propaganda. I've seen you. You are deluded. You lost. The Snyderverse is over. It's done. Love it as much as I do. It is over. Leroy Kong, Kavari, I'm a true DC fan. You are the fake fan. JG, Kavari loves BOP. Well, people can like what they like, can't they? That's what this platform is all about. You see, we're not an echo chamber here. Ronnie George, I say it how it is. Don't like it. Tough. Sorry, Meg, that's okay. Kavari, I hate BOP, idiot. Oh, dear. Right, can we watch the language, please? But there you go. JG, but that's what you've been doing, echo chambering all afternoon, have I? Well, just like you. I must have learned it from you. What's the echo chamber? That I like Zack Snyder's films, but I'm excited with the new direction. That's not an echo chamber, is it? You see, this is what you people do. You can't win an argument because you're facing someone highly more intelligent than you, but because you lose, you can't handle it. So you want to get the last word, but you're not going to get the last word. You lost. Sorry, you're dealing with the real deal now. You lost. There's no Snyderverse. It's finished. Go over to Netflix. Go over to Netflix. Watch his movie again and again and again, right? Get your tissues out, explode one over his movies and leave us DC fans alone. Your laughing emoji doesn't win. Ronnie Dodge, where's the picture of Zack Snyder as Jesus? Oh, yeah, do you remember that? They've actually got a picture of Zack as Jesus. And we're the delusional ones, right? You're playing with the big boys now. You're playing with the big boys. You're playing with the big boys. You're playing with the big boys now. Kavari, Ronnie Dodge Lowell, Leroy Kong, WB will fail. I have no worries. You can't mess with a big company, boy. Ronnie Dodge, on my best behavior from now. Me too. JG, Mick, I've just exposing your hypocrisy the past 15 minutes. I'm not lost anything. Unfortunately, not gaining anything from this either, which is a shame, because I usually do from your videos. Well, that is a shame, my friend. I have explained to you. I like Zack Snyder's DCEU movies, but I'm also excited with the new direction. And I've also told you that the company want to make maximum buck, and they feel under Zack Snyder they can't because his movies are controversial. So as a business, they are moving on. And that's it. And if you really think you've exposed me, good for you. I hope it helps you sleep at night. That's what you want to believe, but I don't think you have you now? You just want to hear one thing, and that's the end of it. And that's the problem. So if you think you've exposed me, good luck. What have you won? Nothing. Shazam made a maximum profit because it was a very cheaply made movie. Birds of Prey was a cheaply made movie and made a little bit of a profit. Wonder Woman 84 has made money for HBO Max and was released in cinemas. Very difficult time with the pandemic, obviously. Leroy Kong, WB will not make any money. They will fail. The Hamadaverse will fail. I love people on the internet saying they exposed me. It's funny though, because I repeatedly say I love Zach's movies. That's the weird thing. But I have a balance to my conversation, you see. Leroy Kong, WB will not make any money. They will fail. The Hamadaverse will fail. Kavari and Sarnoff was right about these toxic fans. No comment, no comment. JG, but in comparison to Zach's movies, they haven't made. Well, no, let's look at this. Was any of Zach's movies released in a pandemic in movie theatres? No. I rest my case, Your Honour. Ronnie Dodge, I'm seeing a cult showing its rear head here. Yeah, definitely. Kavari, Hamadaverse will get my money. JG, Andy Sarnoff knows FA. Well, she's a businesswoman. She was very successful at BritBox and BBC World. So Shazam and BAP wasn't, no. Shazam was made very cheaply and made double its money. Do you understand? They're happy with Shazam. They didn't expect Shazam. Shazam isn't Superman, is it? Do you understand? Ronnie Dodge, I'd rather pay money for The Flash than another DC movie under a toxic fandom. Kavari, Shazam was better than BVS. All right, let's not get carried away here. I love BVS. I mean, you can think that. That's cool. It didn't even make 300 million. Look, whatever Shazam made, it made double what it cost. Do you understand? Leroy Kong, I'm no toxic fan. You people are toxic fans. Nothing. Do not scare me. I don't think anyone's trying to scare you, my friend. Calm down, everyone. Take deep breaths. Accept other people's opinions, right? And come in with your opinions constructively, right? This isn't about being angry, right? People have their own opinions. I have my opinion. As I've explained, I love Zach's free movies. I watch them all the fucking time. That's not the point. We're talking about the future of this IP, which is my main concern. And clearly, after BVS, they realized they couldn't carry on like this. Do you get it? Kavari, Shazam is a good movie. I enjoyed Shazam, and so did my nieces and nephews, because my nieces and nephews deserve DC content as well. JG, didn't MOS double its money back? MOS made about 650 million, right? What's that got to do with anything? It's a Superman movie. It's a Superman movie. Shazam is a very small character, and his film cost very little money. Man of Steel nearly cost 300 million to make. Do you understand? And Shazam cost under 100 million to make. Do you now understand? JG and BVS. BVS also cost 300 million to make, and they wanted to make Force Awakens money. They believe, as I believe, a film with Superman and Batman in it shouldn't make under $1 billion. That's embarrassing. As much as I love the movie, it's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing result. Now, Kavari. Now, stop. I'm not even going to read that out. Ronnie Dodge. Sorry, Mick, I'm getting my claws out, lol. I'm not even reading that out, Kavari. 5 minutes, everyone. Get your bitching out, Kavari. And Shazam was between Captain Marvel and Endgame. That's true, yeah, and did quite well considering. Ronnie Dodge, I'm calm now. That's good. JG, I understand that it doesn't make sense whatsoever, Mick. Well, it does. Kavari, why not? Leroy, why not? Well, it's a bit below the belt, I think. Just slightly below the belt, Kavari. Leroy Kong, it's all because of toxic, dirty-minded haters. Oh, God. So this is what happens all the time on the internet. You see, people can't just disagree. Ronnie Dodge, Snyder doesn't get the general audience's interested. That's true. Although I think the Snyder Cut got them interested, to be fair, but ultimately it was too little, too late. They're not going that direction. They know it's dangerous to go down that direction because they're a business, right? They're a business. And listen, this is how business works, right? Most supermarkets sell Coca-Cola and their own brand. Now, their own brand doesn't make as much money as Coca-Cola because it doesn't taste the same as Coca-Cola. Do you get me? Jonathan, can't wait to see the animated Injustice movie. Me neither, my friend. I'm looking forward to it. Kavari, Leroy Kong, I agree. Leroy Kong, DC will always be better than Marvel. Yes, yes, yes. Leroy Kong, Zack Snyder is the Godfather and King. JG, Snyder got people interested in Superman again. Why aren't people still talking about Donna? What aren't they talking about Superman Returns, but they all talk about MOS? Well, actually, JG, people do talk about Richard Donner's Superman all the time. You just don't follow the right people. You follow your own people, right? Because that's the kind of bubble you want to be in, and that's fair enough. You know, peace, man, and all of that. People talk about Superman Returns. There's big debates on Superman Returns. In fact, I enjoy Superman Returns. It's not one of the best Superman films, nowhere near it, but it's an interesting take. There were mistakes made. There's interesting elements. There's a balance to all conversations, isn't there? So they're not just talking about Man of Steel. Man of Steel is a good film. I like Man of Steel. I don't have a problem with Man of Steel. I do think that if you're going to have Superman kill someone, make it kind of, reflect on the other movies. But it was just about controversy, wasn't it? That's all it was. So Man of Steel is a really, really good film, and I enjoyed it. Henry Cavill likes Man of Steel. He doesn't like BVS. He prefers Superman in Man of Steel, and I don't blame him. Ronnie Dodge, Zack Snyder, maybe you're good, but not mine. I trust Walter Hamada 100%. JG, peace, man. We can always disagree. Leroy Kong, Zack Snyder's a true DC fan. He got Superman right. I think he got Superman right in Man of Steel. Although, to be fair, it was Goyer and Nolan who wrote him. JG, Ronnie, you're a plonker, mate. No, there's no need for name calling, is there? Why would you name call? There's no need to name call, is there? That's immature. That's silly. Why can't you just disagree like an adult? Kavari, I love MOS, by the way. Yeah, I think we all do. I think we can all agree that MOS was written by intelligent people like Goyer and Nolan. So let's not have name calling. Maybe you should go to the Davy Pino stream while he's getting pissed on vodka or something. And I also trust Walter Hamada. Ronnie Dodge, I guess I trust something that's going to work, not something that didn't work in the first place. Sorry. JG, Dave's, nah, go away. Go away. Stop. Don't ever use the word divvy. Don't use stupid words. Go away. Not interested. I'm not going to read your comments anymore now because you're an insulter. You're an immature insulter. I'm not interested. This is an adult conversation. Ronnie Dodge, don't get me wrong. I love Man of Steel. Oh, I think we all do. I think it's BVS, as much as I love it, that upset people. Oh, and by the way, David S. Goyer wrote a better version of Superman than the guy who wrote BVS, Chris Terrio, who Snyder hadn't even worked with before, but Ben Affleck went, I want Chris Terrio, and Zach goes, all right then. So Nolan and David S. Goyer's Superman from Man of Steel is superior to Chris Terrio's Superman. Thank you very much. So if you want to insult people, JJ, I don't trust someone who was against Joker, made Shazam, made BOP and Wonder Woman 84. He wasn't against Joker. He did something that most studios do now and again when they're worried about a film. It was a risky film, and look at the controversy around it. So they brought some people in to invest in it as well. It worked out for all the investors and WB. They all made money, right? End of story. That's a false narrative. I don't like Birds of Prey. He didn't make Birds of Prey. Margot Robbie was the lead there because he was giving people creative control. Wonder Woman 84, you keep on moaning about creative control. He gave Patty Jenkins creative control and she messed the movie up. You're contradicting yourself. Joker could have made them the big time. Yes, but they didn't know that. They didn't have a crystal ball. This is what businesses are about. You've never worked at a studio. You don't understand how business works. So that narrative is a wrong narrative. They all made money. They took a risk. You know, they took a risk by bringing in sponsors. They didn't make as much as they could have done, but nobody knew how big that film was going to be, right? They were concerned about it, so they brought other investors in. Ronnie Dodge, we're all grown-ups. The name calling is no need. No, there's not, but I'm afraid JG wasn't the Jeff Johns who made more control. JG, wasn't that Jeff Johns who had more control? Of what? What did he have more control of? Jeff Johns hasn't been in charge of the DC Cinematic Universe since Justice League. JG for Wonder Woman 84. Jeff Johns co-wrote Wonder Woman 84. He didn't have more control than Patty Jenkins, no. But they wrote the film together. But Patty Jenkins was the one who had creative control on that film. She's the one who brought Jeff Johns onto that. She didn't have to work with Jeff Johns, but she did. You keep on going on. You know, the whole group of people goes on about creative freedom. Well, Patty Jenkins, by this studio, by Walter Hamada, was given creative freedom. So that's on her. And now she hasn't got a job anymore, even though officially she's still doing Wonder Woman 3. She won't be touching Wonder Woman 3. This is what happens. She didn't listen to the studio. She got it wrong. The studio were right about their concerns on Wonder Woman 84. She got it wrong, and it's simple as that. And now she's an embarrassment. She got the Star Wars film before people saw Wonder Woman 84. Just think about that as well. Ronnie John, Joker became the highest grossing R-rated movie, but I think the Suicide Squad could dethrone that. The Suicide Squad's going to make a lot of money. Now, I don't know how many movie theatres are going to be open. It's going to be interesting. What were their concerns? The male scene. They hated the male scene. The male scene was terrible. They didn't like some of the tone. They thought the movie was too long. But she was given creative freedom, something that you say they don't give. But she got creative freedom. Well, it's been a fun stream, everyone, but we're going to call it a night here. Thank you, everyone. It got a bit strong at times. Just remember, if you want to be part of these streams, and you don't have to, I'm not an elite or anything, but if you want to be part of these streams, no name calling, we can have heated conversations, that's fine, but, you know, we've got to be adults here. Leroy Kong, great life. Thank you, my friend. Humberto Correa, good day. Good day to you, Humberto. I hope you're okay. They're the rules of the streams, that we can have heated conversations. We can disagree. We can even get angry, but we get angry like adults, and we use our intellect to respond intelligently with our opinions. Ronnie Dodge, I'm excited for Aquaman 2, although nervous, Jason, doing the story. I was thinking that, actually. I'm so fucking nervous about that. I just think that Wan is clever enough to kind of paper over those cracks, hopefully. But you never know. He may have come up with something interesting. But I'm sure if James Wan is going with it, it must be okay. So don't worry about it too much. Leroy Kong, Zach is my one. I'm not sure if Deb will like that. Deb might be a bit jealous. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to have a cigarette and the remainder of my Coca-Cola. I will be back tomorrow with Big Mouth Live. So remember, it's okay to disagree. It's okay for diehard Snyder fans to come in here and be passionate. It's okay for me to say I love Zack Snyder's movies, but I'm also backing what the studio's doing. It's okay for all of us to have opinions. But to call names, I think, to call people names is immature. And really, I don't need the money. I don't need this channel to be successful, and I don't really want people insulting people. So if you've been an insulter tonight, think about your conduct. And if you're willing to be a decent human being, you can come back. If not, as I say, Dave Pienaar gets pissed on vodka every night on his vodka streams, and I'm sure he'd welcome your type of mentality. JG, Zack Snyder is the boy. Zack Snyder's a brilliant man. He's made 3 great DC movies, but I'm excited for the future. So, Humberto Carrera, amazing service always. Thank you, Humberto. So remember, if you're rewatching this, comment down below. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell the world about me, especially the women. The women are going to want to know about me, and I'll be back tomorrow with Big Mouth Live. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter, @MoviesTVMad. Thank you, everyone, for your contribution. Ronnie Dodge, Mick, see you tomorrow, mate. Sorry, guys, if things got heated. No problem. Getting heated, I enjoyed the heatedness. This is what I want. But we can just disagree. We can be heated and disagree without insulting each other and being rude. And anyone who doesn't want to do that, as I say, go to the other numbskulls on YouTube. I'm sure they'll welcome you with open arms. So until tomorrow, the Big Mouth Daily Live. I'll see you then. Goodbye. Ronnie Dodge, I think I need a strong drink, lol. Me too. Great live, mates. Everyone, thank you. It was awesome. I really enjoyed myself.